Okay, we're back. A couple of post notes. One is there's a relationship between fairness and predictability. Remember, the brain is wired to predict. Your brain is wired to predict. That's its main fundamental function, to predict. Underlying fairness is a sense of what's happening is not what I predict should be happening. So that adds that other element, that other visceral, primordial element of, because it fouls up our predictions. So now that. 2, there's a genome, CRM2, which relates to sensitivity quotient. Kids high in CRM, CHARM2, chromosome 2, whatever, do particularly well in positive parenting environments. And as you might expect, they do particularly poorly in negative environments. So there's obviously, we knew there's a genetic link to sensitivity. I'm sure there's more than just this, but there is research on that. Speaking of positive environments, did I mention 2.9? Does that sound familiar? No, okay. Again, more research. As I always say, the pin might not fall. I might be wrong about this, but what they found was they did transcripts of what people say to themselves. So every, I don't know, 5 minutes or something, you have to stop and say, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm saying to myself, self-talk. They looked at couples, what they say to each other. They looked at work environments and what people are saying to each other. And they found that the ratio in individuals, couples, and work environments that are positive, feel good about self, each other, colleague, esprit de corps, whatever, the ratio of positive to neutral or negative statements is at least 2.9. Basically say 3 times as many positive things to self, others important, and colleagues than neutral or negative. At least 3 times as many positive things. I've heard a statistic is supposed to be 5, but the research I'm familiar with is 2.9. What's interesting is there was the same ratio to self, other, and that's just interesting. There's something about this particular little magic number. So when you say something negative to yourself, when your inner critic beats you up, you go, stop. Now I have to say 3 positive things. On the other hand, I'm groovy, cool, and bitchin'. Okay? Okay. So I took this, did this. Oh, I was telling you about window and the door. Here's a great one from Stalag. True story. So he's there in Michigan, and little Matthew, who's now a professor of something, history, something like that. Anyway, he was about 10. They're walking down the aisle of basically like a Target. And Matthew sees this beautiful bike. And it was like $500, which back then is like $5,000. Dad, I gotta have this bike. Oh my God, look at this bike. What's beautiful? I see you love this bike. Oh, it's stunning. It's unbelievable. It's $500, which is a lot of money, and I know that doesn't make sense to you. Let me do this. Excuse me, clerk, do you have a piece of paper? I promised to buy Matthew on his 16th birthday this Schwinn Extraphonic bike, quad 4, whatever, bike. Love, Dad. So would you witness this, please? Yeah. Matthew was thrilled. He held on to this. Now, of course, you know, at 16, he comes to Dad and says, Dad, remember the bike thing? You know, I'm not really into that bike anymore. But there's this red Ford Mustang. I promised to buy Matthew on his 50th birthday if I'm still around. Partial gratification. Strive for part. If not now, under what conditions, right? Instead of no, under what conditions would I say yes? All right. Oh, another thing, shifting. You all know about parental alienation. You all know you can't call it a syndrome, right? Richard Gardner coined the term, wrote the book. Parents will come into your office. If you get involved in the whole custody industry, it is that in a way. They'll come in and I'll have that book. It's usually will be a dad. It's exactly what she's doing. I read this book. It's exactly what she's doing. Let me be clear. There's no question. First of all, as we've already known, kids feel and know exactly what parents feel about each other. No question. And there's no question, even though the principle is love your kid should be strong. Your love for your kid should be greater than, stronger than your hate for your ex. A lot of folks don't seem to live by that. I got it. Kids absorb that. It is also true that a kid will usually choose the more vulnerable parent. And you'll have parent A, and let's face it, it's more often than not the woman, sorry, for a variety of reasons, probably for good reasons. Estrogen, oxytocin, blah-de-blah-de, feels really hurt by parent B, hates parent B. The expression of the hurt is rage, anger, hate. Kid sees that, knows that, feels that. Kid sees that he can spit in dad's face and dad seems to still be there. Kid's afraid, oh my God, if I betray mom, she's going to do to me what she does to dad, which is hate him and exclude him from the life. So I'm going to stick with you. Way oversimplistic, but there is some of that going on. Basically, in alienation, the punishment doesn't match the crime, which is different than estrangement. Estrangement was when the parent is doing horrible things to that kid. Substance abuse, molest, whatever, and no wonder that kid feels very distant. Of course, you'll get the compensatory kid that's appeasing the persecutor, but all right. In an interesting way, alienation involves shifting. Parent A hates parent B. We'll use the simple, overly simple nomenclature of hate. She gets the kid to behave towards parent B in such a fashion that parent B gets to feel exactly what parent A feels. Only vis-a-vis the child. I love you and want you, but I can't have you. I feel so unfairly treated by you. You hate me, you rage at me, you want nothing to do with me. But I haven't done anything that deserves that. In many ways, that's exactly a lot of times what parent A feels about parent B. I loved you, I wanted you, you left me. You went for this other woman. I can't do anything about it. I don't understand. It's not fair, etc., etc., etc. It's a very interesting shift. And I dare say more often than not, when it's really that consolidated, there's usually a backdrop. There's usually a predecessor, dad, somebody else, that this is being re-evoked in this relationship. This rejection is really evoking an early rejection. If that's the case, there's even a greater shift. You, parent B, are going to feel what I felt vis-a-vis my parent way back when. Am I making any sense here? You following? It's just a really interesting other way to look at alienation. By the way, reunification therapy, hardest kind of therapy. Kids utterly not invested. First thing you say to the kid is, you're not my client, dad or mom, you're not my client. The relationship is my client, and I'll work hard for that client. And they usually put a little empty chair, put a stuffed animal, have them choose something that represents the relationship, because that's my client. Kid has contra-motivation. In fact, the more effective you are, the scarier it is for the kid. Oh my God. And you try to get the parent A, the alienating, to come in and say, I sanctify the relationship. Good luck. Without that, it's really, really hard. I'll never forget this little cutie pie of an 8-year-old. She looked like a blonde-haired little orphan Annie. She was blonde. She was incensed at her dad. Incensed at her dad. Because on their last outing to the Balboa Park, he ate the last Oreo cookie. He said, oh, honey, I'm so sorry. He was really good. He was amazing. Honey, wow, I'm so sorry. You know, I thought after you eating the 6 before it, that you wouldn't mind me eating the last one. Well, I do. I wanted the last one also. She didn't even deny it. She ate the 6 before it. He on his own says, honey, how can I make it up to you? I want a whole box of my own. Okay. The next session, I swear to God, and he did this without kind of sardonicism, as if that was a verb. He brings a case. He brings a case of Oreo cookies. You still didn't let me have the last one, and you ate the last one. She wouldn't budge. It was amazing. Her need to hate him and reject him. It was so. He finally said, I'm not going to do this to you anymore. This is so hard for you. I am not going to. I will always love you. I will always be available to you anytime you ever want, in any way. He wrote this beautiful letter to her. And I hope you take this letter so you can read it at different times in your life. But I'm not going to make you come here anymore. I'm not going to make you come under. It was amazing. And afterwards, oh, he wept, this dear man. She left and he just wept. I don't know what happened. It's huge. It's a huge thing, this whole alienation. And by the way, alienation it's really not parental alienation. It's really child alienation. The child is alienated from. And now the parent always tells the kid's afraid of the parent being, what? Comes in there and says, I hope you're dead. I hate you. I hope you never live again. Oh, it's like, that's fear? Oh my God. It's amazing what they'll say. Or they'll come in and I have one where I had to build a barrier, literal, while I have these big stuffed animals. And he won't look at the dad, and he won't talk to him. All he'll do is write questions, really poignant. I've met one time. He's about 6, 7-ish. It's amazing. It's really hard work, interesting stuff. But anyway, it's shifting. Okay, who can evoke? I need 2 people. I need 2 people, and I need a child. Who's going to evoke the inner courageous one? Again, remember, your value as a human being, clinician, or anything else is not in any way determined. Your lovability, any of that, by what you do up here. Not at all, okay? I need a kid. Who's going to be a kid? It's the easy part. Trust me. I mean, I want you to be a little bratty, but the inner brat. Perfect. Oh, perfect. Yes, you get to be the inner brat. Gets to come out. Not really, you'll see. It's not really bratty. Kind of whiny, though. All right. Okay. Perfect. You get to pick your parents.
Oh, I want Jan.
Jan gets to be a parent. She's a parent in practice. Parent in belly, so to speak.
Jan and Shay.
Perfect. Ah, shit. Shay says shit. Should bleep that?
No.
No. Okay, all right. So here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Congratulations, 10-year anniversary. Love it. Fantastic. Absolutely. You've told her that you're going to go. It's Saturday night. Top of the Cove is reopened. Table 10 view. It's fabulous. I mean, I don't know if this is your kind of night, but we'll just pretend it's your kind of night. You got tickets for this great play at the Globe. I mean, you've done it. You even got, what the hell? You got not your style maybe, but you got a chauffeur. What the hell? Because you can drink a little. You don't have to think about it. They're going to come at 7 o'clock. You got the favorite babysitter. You don't want them to go. Saturday night, you want them to be with you.
Guys, I don't want you to go.
Perfect, all right?
Don't leave.
So, go.
Wait, tell me what's going on. You don't want us to go?
No, I'll miss you. No, I want you guys to stay at home and play video games with me.
Is there something that we can do tomorrow that would make up for it?
No, I want you guys to be here tonight.
What's special about tonight?
I want to be with you tonight. I'm going to miss you.
I miss you too.
I am going to miss you a lot.
So then stay.
And I also want to spend time with your other mom. It's a very special night for us. It's our 10-year anniversary. You know what that means?
You've been together for 10 years?
Really long time.
Feels like 100 years, but I love her.
Don't you guys want to spend it with me?
I love getting to spend every minute that I can with you. And I love getting to spend time with you.
You know what? You are the greatest thing that ever came into our relationship. And tonight, we're not only celebrating our relationship, but we're celebrating you.
So we should spend it together.
Spend the day together. Any activity you want to do tomorrow?
I could make you dinner.
We can also, if you want to, you can spend time with me, just the 2 of us, and then you can spend time with your mom, just the 2 of you. We can set up all kinds of things. What do you think?
How much further do I take?
No, you're good. I think you're bought. I think this is good, right? Applause. Yes, fine. Here's the chauffeur. Thoughts, feelings, fancies, reactions. First from the parent, first from the child. How was it for you? How did it evolve for you?
I think they explained it pretty
Totally.
nicely.
How old were you anyway?
Oh, I should say until you're 6, but you're youngish. You weren't a teenager. You're probably, yeah, and you weren't a 2-year-old, obviously. Right? It really seemed to change. Did you feel how it seemed to change? Did you feel how it changed? I mean, you seemed, sorry?
She started listening, hear what we were saying.
Okay, so how was it for you two?
Would you like to go?
I was nervous about it.
Okay.
I definitely was like, oh, just go with us.
Oh, so there was a part of you that wanted to give in. Oh, I think, oh, interesting.
Dinner, I would have been like, we're staying.
Yeah, actually, that was a good sell. Yeah, that was good. Nobody's ever done that one. You guys did some variations that were different. It was interesting. Yeah, the dinner ones, I was like, oh, that's interesting.
And I could totally see a kid doing that, like even though they make you like a cheese sandwich or something.
Yeah, I'll make it dinner.
To keep you to stay, like that's just adorable. Like, so the whole giving in thing, I think that's gonna be.
I forgot not to frame it that you do not give in, because that's going to be important. Okay. Again, everybody's amygdala gets fired at first. When the kid says, don't go, reflexively, our amygdala's like, oh shit, now we're in a dilemma. Because on the one hand, we love her, we don't want to hurt her, blah, 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 don't want to have her feel abandoned, rejected. No, no, I want to go, we got this all set up. So there's a dilemma. So we tend to get defensive. And we tend to try and talk the kid out of their position into our position, why we're right about going. You did a little bit of that, not a lot. Little, I mean, it got more into it, but again, first empathy. I should have had you be on your knees, because then I would have wanted you, and you would have gone to your knees, you know, be low, little, be there. I totally understand. I love that you don't want us to go. I love that you don't want us to go, because it means you want to be with us, and I want to be with you. I totally love that you want to be with us. So I would start with the empathy, and I'm happy that she doesn't want us to go, which is kind of the opposite of how we're feeling, because we're going, oh shit, I wish you'd just let us go. So go with the opposite of it. Go with the, I love that you don't want us to go. And it kind of throws her off too. It's like, huh? Oh, because she's expecting you to argue. Instead, I love that you don't want us to go because I want to spend time with you. I like that I would, at that up front, say, so when's a great time for us to spend time? Let's plan that out. I like what you got there, basically. Because, yes.
I felt vicarious anxiety in the negotiation process, just of trying this elaborate chess game of our move, the child's move, back and forth, and you know, what is the appropriate level of fairness, what's the appropriate appeasement, what's the appropriate, you know, how do we connect with that the right way? And so it's not easy.
Correct, it's not easy. But I do, again, I always start with empathy. I totally get how you don't want us to go. You put your alarm on, and even though it's your favorite babysitter, you're not going to feel like being with her right now because it's your favorite babysitter. She's going to say, no, I don't want to be with her. So already say that. No, you're not going to feel like wanting to be with her. It feels totally unfair. So I wanted a future think as to when we are going to be together. I would say, so let's plan out. In fact, one of the things you could do with the babysitter is plan out the perfect evening for the 3 of us, or, and I like what you said, the 2 of us. 2 of us. You know, I know sometimes when you're with Brandy, we come in like, I really want to come play with you and play with us, and you're like, go away, I just want to be with Brandy right now. Part of me kind of goes, ugh. But another part of me is like, oh, I get that. I get that. I'm glad you have friends that you care so much about that you want to just be with them. And I know you love Mommy and another mom and me, and that's wonderful. So love all around. So plan out when, next Saturday, or if you want tomorrow, and you said something about making your own dinner for us, we can all do that. Fantastic. Now, let me tell you where we're going. Do you want me to draw it? Do you want me to Google Earth it? What do you, nowadays you can Google it. What do you, because you want transitional objects to the place you're going to. We're going to Top of the Cove restaurant. And if you want to go with us next week, whatever, you know, boom, no problem. Well, we can kind of only do it once a month. We'll budget for it. Let me show you where it is. If you want. You'll know, I want you to draw it. Okay, we'll draw it. We've got, by the way, Pumpkin, we've got 5 more minutes and the limo's coming. But we'll do this. You know, let's draw it, and here's Mommy, and here's me, and nothing else. We're also distracting, because she's in her amygdala. I want her out of that. I want her in playful mode. I want her in vicarious, we are together mode, because this is a separation. We are together. Now, yeah, we have FaceTime now. We have all these other ways to make contact. And you, depending on the child, you might say, and you can When do you want me to FaceTime you from the restaurant? Do you want us to send a picture? Whatever. We're saying we can be separate and together at the same time, certain ways.
Do you offer to bring her like a dessert or something?
That was going to be my next thing. What would you, if you want, what would you like from the menu that we can figure out, we can call you, whatever. We're going to be home by 1 a.m. What part of your face do you want me to kiss? And what part of your face do you want mommy to kiss? Forehead, nose, cheeks, mouth, it's totally up to you. You're going to be in angel land. No, I'm not going to be asleep. Far out. You're going to be awake. I was totally wrong. I apologize, I was wrong. You're going to be totally awake. But it still goes. What part of your face do you want us to kiss? Again, there's all kinds of meta messages in there. One is, we will be together again in love and closeness. Two is, even though you don't get a choice about whether we're going or not, you do get a choice as to where I'm going to kiss you and express my togetherness with you. Okay? I mean, you get in the sort of the sense. Yes, please.
What about deployment? What if they don't want to say they could be coming back?
Well, deployment, that's a huge thing. I'm going to be gone for 6 months. It's going to feel like an eternity. Oh, God, that's huge. I'm going to be writing to you as much as we can. We can Skype as much. We're going to do as much as we can. Here is what I say to Duran. I really do say this. Every time, I can't get to your head. Every time he goes away kind of like far, like when he went to school, even now when he comes home and then he goes back to school, I know that's not far. First of all, he always does this because he knows I'm going to kiss him there. It's the only place he'll allow me to kiss him. He's 20 years old, for God's sakes. I love this kid more than anything in the universe. He knows that. He's heard that basically every day of his life till about age whenever, when he got tired of hearing it. But anyway. So he goes, okay, Dad, give him a kiss. I hug him and I say the following. My love is wherever you are. You touch your heart and you will feel it. Yeah, Dad. It's true. I also said to him, once when we were talking about death, no human being has ever loved another human being more than I love you. Doesn't mean that nobody else has loved as much as I. I'm not saying I've loved you more than anybody loved anybody. No, but no human being has ever loved another human being more than I love you. So if the spirit transcends the body, I will be there when you laugh. And I will be thrilling in your joys. And I will be comforting you in your sorrows. Because no human being has ever loved another human being more than I love you. And I've said that to him. And I mean that. As you know, I don't believe it does, but I hope, if so, it's true. Okay, good. Now, who's feeling even braver? This is going to be a little harder one. Oh, God, look at those amygdalas. Everybody's got amygdala eyes. I can just feel it. Come on. I need a parent, I need a kid. Come on up. Do you want to be a parent or kid?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. You're going to choose then somebody to be either the parent or the kid. And maybe it matters to them, so then that's how it'll be decided who you are. Who do you want to choose? Yes, absolutely. Oh. You're brave enough to be up here? You're kidding?
Yeah. Jacqueline.
Come on up, Jacqueline. Do you want to be parent or kid? You don't care either? Oh, great, 2 kids. Well, who do you want to be whom then? Bosses?
I'll be back.
You're going to be kid. It's just 2 of you.
Oh, okay. No.
Okay? All right, here's the situation. You're going to go into mommy's room. And you're going to do that. Okay? And mommy is going to come in and see that that occurred. Okay?
How old is she?
6-ish.
Okay.
6, 8, something like that. Yeah, 23 and desperate. Living back home and needs every $5 she can get. God damn it. No. Okay? All right, so you're going to go over there. Now, let's be clear. You know exactly what she is doing. Okay? Be here now. Be existential, here now, present, attuned to the child. Why don't you get low, actually? You've got to be a little kid. There you go. There you go. Okay? And whatever she responds, you're going to think, now what is she thinking, feeling, fan? What's her perception of state right now? How do I address that? Okay?
Okay.
You're on. You're brave.
Hello. What are you doing?
Nothing. Nothing? What do you have in your pocket?
Nothing.
Nothing?
are you feeling? I saw what you just did. I have a piece of paper. You have a piece of paper? Can I see it?
Freeze frame for a second. What's her existential state?
She's nervous
Okay, and what's she nervous about?
because she knows she did something wrong.
Okay, and then what'd she do wrong?
Oh, she stole them, or
Correct.
took the money.
Okay, tell her that.
Okay.
Okay, just go right into it. So let's replay it and just start with exactly that. If she hides the money, go right to the, wait. Because now it's not about the money. It's about the relationship and her perception that you're going to punish her for something wrong she did. That's why she's hiding it. So that's what you address, not the money. Then you'll get into the money. It's really hard because our amygdala isn't otherwise. It's really hard to do this. But when you reflexively reflect, value and validate the immediate state of the child. Otherwise you'll get into the, what are you doing? I'm doing that. Perfect. Replay.
So I saw you took the money. Yeah. How are you feeling taking the money?
Tell her how she's feeling. In this model, we don't ask questions of a 6-year-old. And please, God, not that you're doing it wrong, but in this model, again, if you look at Stalik's stuff and look at his, you can keep it for a little while longer. Maybe you don't want it anymore. You don't ask questions. You let her know. You help her understand how she feels. You give her the vocabulary of what's going on for her.
So it seems like you're feeling a little nervous. Yeah. How come? Because I took something from you. And how did that? I don't know. I feel really bad at doing it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You're doing it.
Huh?
That felt very different because I felt like you were, I mean, I don't know, you were kind of like telling me that how I was feeling was kind of like acceptable, I guess.
Yeah. We got to remember they're 6. I mean, I understand. And we're not doing therapy with them. And even with therapy with a 6-year-old, you don't usually ask questions.
Yeah.
It's okay. So you get down at 11 and go, honey, pumpkin. I see you took the money. It looks like you're afraid I'm going to punish you. Again, if I've given you some message that I'm mean and scary and going to punish you, I'm sorry. I love you. I totally get why you wanted that money. You came in here and kind of went, oh, God, $5. Part of you was like, oh God, what if I get caught? Then I get in trouble. Part of you was like, oh, but I want that Barbie so badly. And that part of you won and just went, I'm going to take it in my pocket. Then I walked in the room. You're like, oh no, now what do I do? I don't want to get in trouble. So part of you wanted to say, I took the money, I'm sorry. Another part of you was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything because I don't want to be in trouble and I don't want to disappoint mommy or daddy. Something like that is my sense of what happened. I could be wrong, but that's my guess of it. So it's kind of like, okay. Yeah. Okay, what do you want the money for? Was it the Barbie thing? Or what was
For
it?
the Barbie.
I bet. I know you've been looking at that Barbie. You've been so wanting that Barbie. I'm amazed you didn't take the money earlier. You probably have had to control yourself in all kinds of situations when you're thinking, I want that. And this time it's like, I can't stop myself. It's right there. I totally get it. Let's figure out a way how you can get that Barbie. What are you thinking of ways you can get the Barbie? Because as you know, I mean, imagine this scenario. So you got the Barbie? Turns out I want the Barbie. No, never mind that. I don't mind. But imagine that. So you got the Barbie, right? You come in and you see me in your room. And what have I got behind my back? Your Barbie. Oh my God, you're gonna be Dad. What are you doing with my Barbie? That's my Barbie. What are you taking my Barbie for? And I'm like, what Barbie? I'm taking Barbie. Because I'm afraid I'm gonna disappoint you. You're gonna be so bummed. You're gonna be mad. Because it's your Barbie. Well, I'm not all that mad about the $5, but it's kind of that same feeling of like, oh, it's my $5. I need to know that it's there, and I was looking all over for it, and you know, that kind of thing. Trust in human relationships, big word. You got to count on me that nobody's going to, I'm not going to take your Barbie, nobody's going to take your Barbie. I got to count on you, you're not going to take my stuff. That kind of thing. But I totally get how hard it is. I totally get how we're going to find a way for you to get the Barbie eventually. We good?
Yeah.
Okay, high five. Not perfect. Good job, by the way. It's hard to do this. But you got to over-amplify your empathy. They don't have the words. They don't know. They've got all kinds of different feelings. And notice the parts model? Part of you is like, I'm amazed you lasted that long. Some money around this house, and you were able to control yourself. Then you saw that $5, boom. You remember Dr. Marshmallow. You know, we talked about him, right? This guy's made his whole career. You didn't talk? This guy made a whole career I'm going to go on marshmallows. And it's the following. Had kids come into a room. There's a marshmallow right there. Yeah, it's famous. I forgot his actual name. If you can wait 3 minutes or so, I'm going to go to the other room, the researcher, and get another marshmallow. You'll get 2. Otherwise, you'll eat 1. He followed them for like 30 years or more. The kids who were able to resist the marshmallow did better in every kind of way overall, bell-shaped curve reality. Relationship, school, career, blah, 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 than those who gulped it. When you look at the videotape, it's the cutest things. The ones who resisted versus the ones who didn't. The ones who didn't just kept staring at the marshmallow. I'm not going to eat you. I'm not going to eat you. Go! The ones who resisted, what marshmallow? There is no marshmallow. Nope, there's no marshmallow. I'm going to fiddle here. It's amazing. It's really hard to control oneself. And you want that Barbie I get it. You got to get it. You got to value and validate the inner world of the child in the moment. And if you're scared, whoa, you look like you're scared, thinking I'm going to be mean and awful. I'm sorry. Gosh, I'm not going to be mean and awful. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to hand you the $5. I mean, we've got to work this out. And I am going to give you the message about kind of ownership, space, privacy, your thing, and I'm going to use the very example, the Barbie, because you know exactly what it would feel like if I took your Barbie. Again, I'm not that invested in the 5, but there is that sense of boundary. And again, it's disrespectful. By the way, to be submissive, which isn't just permissive, it's really submissive, and let a child come into your space, intrude in your space, that's disrespectful to yourself and that child. And if you don't put the boundary, then other systems, whether it's mental health, school, or legal systems, will eventually put boundaries on those kinds of behaviors. So it's not about spoiling, okay? Okay, next time we'll talk about punishment, and then we'll move on. By the way, I do want to modify something. Punishment is power over spirit by way of pain in service of control. I thought about it a little bit more. It's power over spirit by way of pain in service of control. Some would say in service of pro-social behavior. Drawn was never punished. It doesn't make sense. Again, the root word of discipline is to educate. To be continued. Go value and validate yourselves, others, in your lives. See you next week.